The vast majority of men in the modern world do not understand how a woman works, what influences her actions or her behavior. Why today she can love you, respect you, and say words of love, and in a week she can stop communicating with you and break up at all. And it will not be her next manipulation or deception, it will be the pure truth. If you explain in 2 words, a woman's psyche depends mainly on her hormonal and emotional background. That is, her behavior, her actions, mood in general, and in general all depends on hormones, such as estradiol, prolactin, progesterone, etc., unlike men. In other words, a woman does not make decisions with logic or rational thinking, as most men do. A woman is strongly influenced by her hormones at a particular moment in her hormonal cycle, which strongly affects her mood, her decisions, and actions. I'm sure you have not once noticed her emotional swings, when in the morning she can be nice and affectionate, but in the afternoon she is bored with everything. She is all pissed off. In the evening again, everything can change dramatically, and you, after such swings, do not understand how to behave. Sound familiar? In a man, everything is built differently. The hormonal background is more stable and even. But this is not what we're talking about now. Imagine now such an interesting picture. The internet is oversaturated with female psychologists. Instagram, TikTok, social networks from every iron shout about successful success, various coaches on divorce, Torology, astrologers, uterine breathing, various women's courses on self-development, women's webinars on how to get a man to invest, how to manipulate him, divorce for money. Female pseudo-psychologists who have no psychological education, no concept of family life, when some 23-year-old psychologist who has never had a long relationship says that if you are married, your husband does not close all your wants or does not allow you to go to nightclubs, does not allow you to be friends with other men, and in general, he is a tyrant, an abuser, and in every way infringes on your personal space. When normal girls who have a good family, have a husband, have children, in general, everything is stable. Or your wife, whom you know as exemplary and adequate, starts to look at these psychologists, taurologists, numerologists. It used to be when social networks were not so popular, when there was not all this debauchery, naked asses and boobs in Instagram and TikTok, there was not a bunch of internet psychologists and coaches. That's when it was still possible to build a relationship or a family, where the girl did not compare you with other men from Instagram, respect you. There was some minimal morality, education, but now it is not in fashion. Loyalty is not needed. It is not valued. Now, modern girls have completely different values, other goals. Do you really think that you know enough about the psychology of modern women and that you or your relationship will not be affected by all this obscurantism? Do you really think your girlfriend isn't like that? Do you really think that if you live with your girlfriend, wife, for a long time, you have no quarrels or arguments, the girl does not blow your brains out, does not demand, and therefore you think that you have a perfect relationship and they will never collapse? If so, you're in big trouble. I'm serious. The sad thing is that most men think so. And then when they suddenly find out that his girlfriend has been texting for half a year or worse, is already dating a new Vasya, then even then, most men remain puzzled as to why this happened. And how could she do this? Because everything was so good. All because most men are in infantile state, absolutely do not know how to analyze their relationships, how to see in advance important changes, signs, prerequisites, believe in their supposed exclusivity and irreplaceability, believe in pink fairy tales and what they say to their girlfriends. Then she is competently and professionally vaporized that her family life is not full. where she is shown in Instagram how men give flowers, woo girls after the course begin to earn and travel, how she will have a lot of rich suitors, money, and resources. It is enough only to take the course and divorce you and find a rich prince on a BMW. And now imagine the fact that all this colossal influence on her from the internet, the influence of her girlfriends, when girlfriends show off how they divorce men, how they use them. When today one came and gave her a teddy bear and a bouquet of flowers, and the other yesterday gave her money, the third just fucks her like a god. And with the fourth is a friend, and she just drives around the city with him in his car. Now imagine your girlfriend or wife who, for example, has always prioritized family values and fidelity. And where you are an ordinary guy, an ordinary husband, you work at an ordinary job, have an average income, you are not a famous blogger, do not have a super pumped up and embossed body. Even imagine that you do not smoke and do not drink alcohol or rarely on holidays, trying to lead a healthy lifestyle. You are like most men. If you're not a drug addict, not an alcoholic, not a criminal, or a bull with a belly button and a bottle of beer in his hand, you are just an ordinary, adequate man, leading an ordinary life. Do not go to clubs, faithful, who basically wants a quiet, measured, and happy life where you save money. On what you collect, you live within your means. Maybe you try to achieve something more like everyone else. You set goals and slowly go to them. And I'm sure you don't expect all the same from her. You only need from her loyalty, respect for you as a man, faith in you, and support. That's it. I think that I describe the average man, which most of them with adequate thinking, not Momkino's son or computer nerd in the tanks, CS:GO or Dota, against video games, nothing. I have nothing, I mean those who sit in them 24 hours a day and without a break, or major, who lives on the money of parents, who has never worked and knows the problems in general. So guys, men, to start a relationship or a family, and especially to be in them now in the 21st century, not understanding anything about female psychology, not knowing how to analyze their relationships, not developing yourself mentally and physically, it's very important if you just float on the current of relationships like a piece of shit. I would say not only infantile and naive, but I would say more precisely even dangerous for you as a man. Because on a woman from all sides is propaganda of depravity, lust, where pseudopsychologists teach to breathe uterus, teach to dominate a man, teach manipulation, psychological techniques, how to tie a man, how to divorce him for money. And not one does not teach how to develop and make money not at the expense of men, but at the expense of themselves. I have not met such. So guys, men, I repeat for the 100th time, it is very important to develop both physically and mentally, to understand, to study female psychology, to be able to anticipate and understand at an early stage of various changes in the relationship, to correctly direct them in the right direction. Yes, I believe that in a relationship, man is a leader, and he must lead and direct the relationship no matter what women told you and no matter what pseudo-psychologists wrote that only a woman should be engaged in relationships. No, it's not. The task of a woman to improve and constantly maintain that favorable background in the relationship, or to give an analogy, to create your world, and in it you as its creator, as a leader, where you invited a woman in order for her to maintain a pleasant atmosphere, a pleasant background, where the same goals, mutual respect, and mutual desire to make each other's lives better. Subscribe. In the next video, I will tell you how to do it. Everything is in your hands.